Hi, I'm Gavin Coyle. I'm the CEO of Coyle Group and SafetyJobs.io. I have over 25 years experience in health and safety, and I've worked with leaders in the power stations, wind energy, construction and utility sectors. I know and I understand the problems that leaders have within these industries, and I've had first-hand experience working with leaders in trying to solve these issues. What we've done is we've produced a series of webinars to try and support and help your management and your team look at different areas and tips in order to improve and to solve some of these issues. We hope you enjoy this webinar today, and we look forward to producing more content for you in the future. Safety people. So should you hire somebody externally, or should you bring somebody within the company onto the next level within your safety team, somebody that has been with your business for a while, understands the business risks, and can gel and can add value to your safety team? Safety services. So you may want to outsource health and safety, or you may want to bring somebody into the business, or you may want to do both, depending on the type of business you are, the pressure your business is under, the resources and the budget that you have. HSE requirements. You need to make sure that your safety officer or your safety professional obviously is competent. And we spoke about competency in previous webinars. The person with the required skill, knowledge and experience, qualification in order to deliver the task that you have within your business. Is the person the right fit for the business? Are they fit for purpose for the business? Do they fit into the culture of your business? All of these areas we've discussed in our previous webinar, so I'd advise you to have a look at that. Fit for purpose. According to the Health and Safety Executive, a competent person must be fit for purpose. What do we mean by fit for purpose? The person must be right. What do we mean by right? The person must have knowledge of the good standards and the good practices within the business. What do we mean by tailored? A person that has specific knowledge of the specific business so that they can apply their expertise and knowledge. What do we mean by sensible? A person who can apply logic to each individual challenge. A person that is reasonably practical and that has a sound knowledge without having to apply a lot of paperwork to the problem, but also can apply practical knowledge that they've had experience of within a previous industry or with a previous employer. Certifications. So what do we mean by certifications? Obviously the third level qualification that this competent health and safety person has. In the UK, the minimum level is an NVQ3. In Ireland, minimum would be the likes of a NFQ5 diploma in health and safety. You may have additional certifications such as instructor level qualifications, train the trainer. You may have, manual handling, first aid, accident investigation, lead auditor. There's many other different certifications. Fundamental qualification that you need to concentrate on, obviously, is the third level qualification. Has that person reached a standard that is diploma or higher, depending on the role that you have? Or it may be a certificate that the person has with a view to carrying on their professional development. So long as that's established as what's in your spec from the start, well then that's important in order to establish that as part of the hiring process. If it's internal, a certification might work because you will work with that individual over the next couple of years. If it's an external person, minimum level we would say is a diploma in health and safety. And there's a range of different courses available such as NEBOSH in the UK and international. And if it was in Ireland, colleges such as Sligo IT, University College Dublin are highly recognised within the area of educating health and safety. So what are you looking for when you look at in-house safety talent? What sort of qualities are you looking for? You're looking for somebody that maybe has sat on a safety representative committee, that may have been involved with safety walks, that may have created safety observation reports, or has given you good credible information on health and safety. It's just common knowledge for them, or practicality solutions that they've brought to the table. And you'll understand the people's flair and the passion that they bring across in order to get the right message to solve a problem. These are really good qualities within people that are going over and above probably what is required of their normal role. So look for these people within your own team. Look for the qualities that lets them stand out from the rest of the workforce in terms of having a voice and a passion for health and safety. Safety training tools. Health and safety within the business never stops. As an employer, it is your duty to provide relevant and specific training to each of your employees. Not just the health and safety professionals, but also general operatives, management, workers at all levels need to receive some form of health and safety training. The basics could be basic fire, basic first aid, manual handling. These will be a type of a standard minimum type training that will be provided in any industry. There's a variety of health and safety training tools available online that you can use as a mobile app or in a web platform type scenario. Online and e-learning training has exploded in the last 10 years and hence has made health and safety training more accessible than ever before. Online training. So within online training, there's a number of different mediums and platforms that you can, your staff can actually sit either through a webinar, an on-demand or a live webinar, or it could be a simple platform that your company would have bought, which may have 50 to 100 different types of courses. Our advice from our experience is do as much due diligence as you can with these e-learning platforms. For example, if the platform is saying that it can provide manual handling, for example, well, manual handling in Ireland, for example, is different to the manual handling training in the UK. In Ireland, it must be classroom based and it can be e-learning based, if you like. In the UK, online can satisfy the legislation. So for each platform that you're looking for, make sure that you tie back the qualifications and the certifications in line with your local rules and legislation within the territory that you're providing the training for your employees. Other tools like augmented reality is really taking a hold within the market and definitely should be explored especially for the likes of looking at the physical hazards within a building. So building information management systems, BIM for example, has brought construction industry onto another level in terms of looking at buildings from an outside all the way into an inside view to look at the design and look at the construction and the constructability of projects. While health and safety has gone the same way with VR, with virtual reality, this can, really dig down into the hazards within a building so that your workers and contractors and people that are entering buildings get a front view of all the physical hazards within the building prior to actually coming onto that particular project. Or it could be just a learning training tool exercise where you can go through all the different steps within your business through a virtual reality. Let's have a look at an augmented reality video just to put a bit more context on what we're discussing here. Again, more on virtual reality. As we previously spoke about, virtual reality is becoming the next big thing within health and safety to give people a real good insight into the physical environment that a worker needs to work within, and that the management need to plan for that worker to work safely within the business. Some fantastic software has been developed within this area. We're going to have a look at a video now as well, explaining a bit more about virtual reality.
Welcome to the Occupational Safety and Health Training. This training is dedicated to such important topics as maintaining safety at the workplace, helping employees to eliminate hazardous conditions, and avoiding them by following the OSHA standards requirements. Here is your task for this session. You are in the switchboard room. You need to connect a new wire to an existing circuit breaker panel 1. Click Next to proceed to the next step. Now, collect proper protective equipment from the list: a hard hat, safety glasses, tool belt, AC/DC voltage meter, and dielectric gloves. Teleport to the objective marker near the circuit breaker panel 1 and open the panel door. Great. Now, grab an AC/DC voltage tester from your tool belt. Take the test leads in both hands and connect them to the highlighted markers on the circuit breaker panel and check if there is a live voltage. Now, when we figured out that the circuit breaker panel 1 is energized, we need to search for the isolation point for this panel on a single line diagram. Teleport to the objective marker near the single line diagram on the wall. Great. Now that you're aware of the isolation point, you need to teleport to the objective marker near the switchboard panel 3 and turn off the highlighted circuit breaker. Notice that we need to tag out this switch to prevent uncontrolled switching. Put dielectric gloves on the table, grab a tag, and attach it on the switch itself. Great. Now you are ready to connect a new wire into the existing circuit breaker panel. Teleport to the objective marker near the circuit breaker panel 1 and pull the wire with your hands towards yourself to fit it inside the panel. You got an electric shock. In real life, it will induce ventricular fibrillation, which can lead to arrhythmia and cardiac arrest. It seems like the panel, in fact, wasn't de-energized, and while you were trying to reach the wire and pull it towards yourself, you have accidentally exposed yourself to a live voltage on a bus bar system. Let's have a look at some of the contributing factors that led to this fatality. An employee should verify the location of all energy isolation points. According to the OSHA standards, each authorized employee shall receive training in the recognition of applicable hazardous energy sources, the type and magnitude of the energy available in the workplace, and the methods and means necessary for energy isolation and control. The additional test shall be performed. After switching off the circuit breaker on the switchboard panel 3, An additional test shall be performed to verify that isolation and de-energizing of the panel 1 were accomplished. According to the OSHA standards, before starting work on machines or equipment that have been locked out or tagged out, the authorized employee shall verify that isolation and de-energizing of the machine or equipment have been accomplished. If normally energized parts are exposed to contact by an employee while the machine or equipment is de-energized, a test shall be performed to ensure that these parts are de-energized. Change in the energy control procedures. At some point, the tagged-out circuit breaker had been cross-wired with the other breaker, and thus the panel was not de-energized in fact. According to the OSHA standards, retraining shall be provided for all authorized and affected employees whenever there is a change in their job assignments, machines, equipment, or processes that present a new hazard, or any time there is a change in the energy control procedures. Use proper protective equipment. Another factor that led to an electric shock: unclad dielectric gloves. Even with the gloves on and long sleeves, the accidental touch to a bus bar would not lead to an electric shock because of insulation materials. You have completed the occupational safety and health training.
Why outsource health and safety? You might very well outsource health and safety because you don't have the competency in your own business, or maybe because you've got additional projects that you didn't expect to have, or that you've won particular tenders or awards of new projects that you didn't expect that you were going to have. All these factors may lead to actually having to take on somebody additional within your team. Or, for example, if you don't have anybody within health and safety and you're not sure whether you could take on an employee and continue to pay that employee over a number of years or for 12 months, you may very well take on a contractor for a limited period of, say, 3 to 6 months. And if that person worked out, you might very well go back and offer that person a full-time employment position. Or if the project finished and you just didn't have enough work to keep that person going, well then, a contractor solution might very well work for you. Outsourcing for SMEs. Outsourcing for SMEs is the best way to stay legally compliant, but at the same time have a targeted approach towards the budget that your company has to allow for health and safety. So if you don't have the competency in-house, outsourcing can totally work for your business. And you're getting really somebody that could potentially be a director of health and safety for a large company, but has gone out on their own as a consultant and is offering their services to you at a particular price that you can meet with, or that you can add into your overall budget for particular projects. So we'd always say, when you're pricing for a job, price for that person into your budget, so that if you do win the tender, obviously you've allowed for health and safety, and now you're getting somebody that has maybe 20 years experience in health and safety, could be a director in a normal company, but you have that person as a specific talent for your particular project to get you over the line and to deliver a safe and healthy project. Outsourcing for larger companies can also be a major benefit, in the sense that larger companies tend these days maybe to be more project management focused in terms of trying to deliver a project at a high level, so that they have the bigger picture in mind, and therefore maybe they don't have a large operational team that are at ground level to deliver or execute the project, where they're more concentrated on the strategy for the project, the strategy for the business, that they have really high-end, high-quality, top-level people that can, have the bigger picture in mind, and therefore, at an operational level, they might be bringing in contractors to deliver a project for them. Health and safety, from an outsourcing point of view, really works within this model, because you can plug in, high-level people into these particular projects from all over the world, and these guys generally can hit the ground running, because you will see that they'll have a track performance of working in the likes of power stations, oil and gas platforms, wind energy projects, large-scale construction data centers where, a guy might, or a person might have 10 years experience, and subject to you agreeing terms, you can fly that person in from around the world onto your project and they can hit the ground running from day one. As we said earlier, outsourcing health and safety does work, and if you have a health and safety team, it allows them to concentrate on legal compliance, your legal register, dealing with specific authorities like the Health and Safety Executive or the Health and Safety Authority in Ireland, and allows them to work on the strategy for health and safety for your business, whilst the day-to-day operations are being managed successfully by your outsourced health and safety professional. So using external safety consultants. External safety consultants can be a great way to get a direct and specific talent within your business for something that is, outside of the scope or outside of the competency within your own business. Try and differentiate between what a consultant can give you and what a contractor can give you. So what I mean by that is a safety contractor might very well come in and manage a project for you, whereas a safety consultant might come in and actually give you strategic advice. In the UK, there's obviously a register for occupational health and safety consultants. You should review the platform and see what type of health and safety consultants meet with your need. There's also many other different types of locations, such as local councils, such as trade unions, such as IOSH, International Institute of Risk and Safety Management members. There's many different forums for you that you can find consultants that have a specific talent or expertise. So for example, it could be asbestos, it could be somebody that has work at height speciality, it could be fire, it could be confined spaces. Don't try to generalize health and safety when you're looking for a consultant. Look for somebody that has a specific talent within a specific area that will give you maximum benefit for what you're looking for. The last thing you want to do is to find somebody that has to research the subject that you're trying to solve, and therefore they're learning on the job, and therefore that's costing you time, money, and it's also unproductive. Optimize resources. So again, you'll probably get from the theme of today's webinar that there's other things that your team can be doing that is more productive and more efficient for your business. So when you step back and you look at your overall business and where the red flags are within your business, you want your best, striker, if you like, up front, overseeing and hitting the goals that you need to get in order to deliver this project for you. And so the resources that you bring in can be managed by that by your overall team in order to deliver the day-to-day aspects of the business. It's all about optimizing to get the best performance for your business. And so you do not want people doing certain tasks that maybe they're not as good at, or maybe that is not going to be as effective. So again, look at the time and look at the hourly rate for your own employees. It's a very good analogy to use, or a very good model to use, is to go back and look at your employees and say, okay, that my own employee, the rate for that person should be, let's say, €100 an hour or £100 per hour. Whereas, I don't want somebody that I'm paying £100 an hour to be sitting at a laptop doing documentation or writing up documentation, or to be sitting in meetings that is not as productive as they should be. I want that £100 an hour or £50 an hour or whatever that figure is person to be focused on high impact, high performance with key learning outputs, and be specific with those outputs that you're looking for, so then everybody has a common goal. Reduce costs. So it's not a problem to outsource. You shouldn't look at outsourcing as taboo, in the sense that, oh my God, I don't want to be seen to be outsourcing safety because I want my clients to think I have this big safety department. In one sense, you could have a full team working as a contract team within your business on a long-term framework. So you may very well set up framework agreements with a number of different contractors to deliver safety performance for your business. But overall, it does reduce costs. It reduces time. It reduces the amount of money that you have to spend on training. It reduces, the amount of money you have to spend on equipment. Outsourcing does work, but it all depends on the nature of your business, the dynamic of your business, and it all depends on, what works for you in terms of the shape and structure of your business. It shouldn't be seen that you're trying to dilute health and safety by outsourcing it to other people. It should be seen that the reason you're bringing in these contractors is to have them carry out a specific focus for you, so it allows you to concentrate on other priorities in the business that are equal or above health and safety, that has an overall common goal to delivering a safe workplace for your business and for your clients and for the general public. Gain flexibility, so it does give you the ability for your business to scale up and scale down using external safety advisors, safety contractors. We would always say and encourage as well, when you bring these safety people into your business, that you obviously explain the culture of your business, you explain your safety management systems, you give them a good, clear induction into your business. But also you try and transfer the knowledge that these people have. These people could have 15 to 25 years experience in industry. And so rather than just have these people used for a couple of months on a specific task or project, that you look at the variety of the experience and skill that this person has, and you might say, how do I transfer some of that experience into my business before that person actually leaves to move on to another project for another client? Enhance workplace safety. So you may very well just use an external safety person to do safety audits for your business. At a basic level, to bring in somebody independent who has specific expertise. So for example, maybe you might bring in somebody in a wind energy project to look at wind turbines and the management of a wind turbine project, or the operational side of the wind turbine project. You might only have a couple of audits every month. So rather than having a full-time health and safety person to do that particular work, having an external independent person who has no bias in the system come in and do an independent audit with somebody that has 20 years experience, etc., and has industry knowledge. That's invaluable to get that type of experience from somebody. So definitely, as a very basic level, to have somebody with a third eye, if you like, to come in and who has the expertise to deliver some information to you that helps you then grow your business and grow your management system. HSE documentation support. Again, this is another classic example to bring in some external support, where you don't want your superstars stuck in front of a laptop or a desktop knocking out documentation. You can bring in somebody to do that documentation for you, and then your superstars or your management team can then do the sanitization of that document and can bring it to the last 20% in order to make it specific to your company. However, a lot of the dog work or a lot of the leg work can be done by bringing in a consultant. And we've seen some great examples of bringing in people to do gap analysis, ISO standards, safety management system, health and safety plan, a health and safety risk assessment directory, a legal register. There's loads of different topics like that you can bring in somebody who has a specific focus to do that for you. And again, we don't want to have people to be ineffective or unproductive with their time. If you can outsource it and you have a controlled budget to outsource, it's going to be more productive and it's going to be more focused for your business. Ensuring regulatory compliance. Again, if you bring in a health and safety expert, they may have legal expertise as well as they might have expertise within health and safety standards across international standards across your industry. Again, another part of bringing in an external advisor is that they would have their own professional indemnity insurance, and therefore you could rely on that insurance in the case where you might have a specialist area. So let's take an example of confined spaces, or let's take an example of asbestos or fire, where you would bring in an outside expert, have them produce a document whereby they put their name to the document or their company name to the document, and whereby if there was a fault in the documentation, that their insurance would be leveraged if there was an incident, or if something was inaccurate or found to be inaccurate later on, subject to an accident or an incident or catastrophic event. So plan for an emergency response. This is a really good area to actually, highlight the fact of bringing in somebody who has outside experience. So, for example, if you were to produce an emergency crisis team, let's take the recent pandemic, for example. You might have a biological expert who has, biological agents experience, but you also may very well have somebody that has, crisis management experience. Health and safety people tend to get brushed with the same brush in terms of, well, it's health and safety, it's all relevant to yourself. When, health and safety is very broad. You have chemical expertise, you have occupational health expertise, mental health, you have, loads of different topics that are sort of, sometimes mothballed into, well, that's health and safety, when in fact it's not health and safety. For example, if you were putting together an emergency response team, you'd like to see someone that has experience in developing a business continuity plan, a business risk plan, a emergency response plan. If it's a power station, or if it's a large chemical plant, have you got a chemicals expert? Have you got a logistics expert? Have you got, health and safety person that can deal specifically with risk assessments in chemicals and stuff like that? So there's a load of different variety of expertise that is absolutely needed in a situation where you're developing an emergency plan or an emergency continuity plan for your business. So reducing the risks on liability. If you follow the theme of what we're talking about today, all of these different techniques, tools and structures to help you solve health and safety within your business, all of these types of models really do help to reduce the risk within your business, reduce the liability within your business, because people are now, focused on certain aspects of the business or health and safety business within your operations that they are specifically talented at. And so therefore, you should see a rise in the health and safety culture within your business, within the operations of health and safety within your business, and within the general health and safety welfare of your overall business. We spoke about knowledge transfer earlier on in the presentation, and again, we would like to highlight this area. We've seen in our experience fantastic health and safety people have been used on projects, but nobody actually pulled the person aside and said, oh my God, I seen that you worked on such and such a project. We're thinking about doing a similar project next year, or we've done a similar project. Could you possibly put together maybe a lessons learned that you've had within your experience working on that previous project? You're not asking the person to provide confidential information. You're asking what was best practice, what worked, what didn't work. Can you give a presentation to our team, our management team, or for the operations team to show what worked and what didn't work? It's a fantastic way to transfer knowledge as it comes into your business. Hold on to that knowledge. Maybe you might change your policies, maybe you might change your procedures or your plans going forward because of what you've learned from these individuals. So, always don't be blindsided or tunnels when you take on an individual. Look at the wider picture, that this person can actually add more value subject to the experience that they've had within their career. Please get in touch with us if you have any ideas for future content, or if you want us to help a challenge within your business. Take care, and we look forward to hearing from you very soon.